Digital cinematography has changed the film industry in a big way, influencing many famous directors such as George Lucas and Steven Soderbergh to shoot in digital, who have pioneered the digital cinema scene, which has attracted many more directors to do the same. The process of filmmaking has also changed over the years, and I will be explaining why filmmakers are switching to over digital from film. I will be presenting films that have been shot digitally and in film and comparing them together to show how far the process of filmmaking has evolved over the number of years. I will be also talking about how much George Lucas, who is a pioneer of digital filmmaking, and why he has chosen to shoot in digital instead of film. The films I will be discussing are Star Wars: A New Hope, 1977, and Transformers, 2007, and also as my sub-focus film, it is Insidious, 2011. I will be discussing the different aspects of how digital cinematography has evolved over the years, from camera equipment to CGI, and explaining the benefits of going digital. In this clip you will see the difference between digital and film footage. As you could see from this clip, the film footage was overexposed and it gives out a pinkish purple tint to the footage. However, in the digital footage, you can see that the colors look more correct to what it's meant to be, and the exposure is balanced so you are able to see the background and the character's face quite clearly. Here you can see a resolution chart on this slide. Films like Oblivion 2013 was shot with a 4K camera. Back in 1970, Star Wars: A New Hope was shot in lower than 2040p. As you can see from this chart, you can see how big of a difference between the two resolution is. It tells us that technology in filmmaking has come a long way to produce such films in very high quality images. Here you see an image of George Lucas. George Lucas began his digital filming career with his film Star Wars: The Attack of the Clones in May 2002. The film was the first ever big budget live action film shot entirely digitally. Majority of the theatres the movie was being shown on played 35mm film transfers of the movie, but some theatres had digital projectors to show the movie on. In the modern era, more and more filmmakers such as Steven Soderbergh are going digital and turning away from shooting in film, which is making digital cinematography a revolution in the film industry. Here you will see some extracts from George Lucas's interview from my research items, talking about why he likes to shoot in digital. The reasons why George Lucas wanted to go digital in filmmaking is because he wanted the process of his films to be created quicker and add in special effects in editing. George Lucas says that he could not add in any special effects or different camera angles into his films when he filmed in analog, but with advancements in technology and digital filmmaking, he says that he could add all the different camera angles and special effects he wanted and get his films finished quicker than before. George Lucas has also gone on to saying that he has also had the freedom to create within his film because he could not have a team working on sounds, visual and picture editing at the same time because he did not have the technology to do so, but the introduction of digital filmmaking and new technology has allowed him to do all that in one go, which makes him to be more creative with his work. George Lucas also mentions that he is not a pioneer of digital cinema, but just a filmmaker who wants to improve the process of filmmaking and push the medium further. Also, because he is an independent filmmaker, he wants to explore the ways he can create films more efficiently. He is a filmmaker who wants the best image quality to his work and the best possible way to express his vision. Here you can see a quote from George Lucas talking about why he switched to digital. He says, "My primary interest in developing digital technology was to speed up filmmaking process so that I could get my ideas accomplished in more efficient ways. I was trying to improve my ability to make movie since much of the filmmaking process is still 19th century. Digital technology saves vast amounts of time and energy, allows the filmmakers to be more creative, be it special effects or post-production, and make the job of filmmaking more easier." Here is another quote from George Lucas. He talks about what his peers think of him shooting digitally. He says, "I have very close friends who say they will never go digital until the last piece of film is used up and the last lab is closed. Then there are others like Jim Cameron and a lot of other directors who have come through to see what we're doing. Francis Coppola is very enthusiastic about what we're doing and is amazed of what we've been able to accomplish in terms of images." Here you'll see a trailer of Star Wars A New Hope 1977, and you'll see images of the blue screen effect and the camera it was shot on. I have just showed you the trailer of Star Wars A New Hope dating back to 1977. You can see how the visual effects and cinematography were back then and how boring it looked and unprofessional, but that is because we are used to seeing highly advanced visual effects and digital cinematography. However, back in the 70s when this film first came out, it was considered amazing and the cinematography was incredible, and it still is, considering this was made back in the 70s, when technology weren't so advanced as of today. How was the special effects in Star Wars 1977 created, you may ask? The illusion is created by a special effects technique known as traveling matte or blue screen. This technique allows actors and scale models to find themselves in totally imaginary situations, in spaceships or flying over gorges or dangling from ropes, and it may look completely real in the theatre. This technique is used often by news reporters on locations when they are not, and in TV segments shows. Here you will see a trailer of Transformers 2007. You have just watched the trailer of Transformers, the 2007 release film. In this trailer you can compare it to the Star Wars A New Hope trailer, and you can see the obvious differences between the two films, in terms of the image quality and how far filmmaking has come along. You can identify this by looking at the visual effects in the trailers and seeing how it makes you feel and think of the film when you watch it. When you watch the Star Wars trailer, it makes you think of how poor the image quality is. But however, when you watch the Transformers trailer, you may think of how amazing the CGI is and how well the digital cinematography was done. This is because of the CGI and the effects we are used to seeing these days, because technology is very advanced nowadays compared to the 70s. On this slide you will see an article about Transformers from the Empire magazine. Also you will see some images of how Transformers bots were created in the film. Here you see an article in the Empire magazine about Transformers 2007. The article talks about how Industrial Lights and Magic, ILM, were involved with the special effects of the film and how they helped bring the robots alive and how they made them have some sort of special relationship with the characters in the film. ILM was created by George Lucas when he made his Star Wars films. When he was able to shoot in digital, he wanted a team of people that can do the special effects and picture editing all at the same time. You can see how George Lucas has influenced many directors to shoot digital and has filmmakers hiring his company to help with the special effects. This tells us how the introduction of digital cinema has helped companies like ILM to be created and help films with special effects and editing. Here you will see an image of Steven Soderbergh and extracts from his interview, and also the red camera that he uses. Red camera is a very special piece of equipment which has helped revolutionize the digital cameras and the process of filmmaking. They are lightweight cameras compared to the massive film cameras and they are much smaller than the film cameras and way more cheaper to hire and use. Filmmakers such as Steven Soderbergh, who was one of the very first directors to use this camera, has produced many of his films with it, such as Magic Mike and Chi. You can say that Steven Soderbergh is a pioneer of red cameras, since he has always been using this camera when it first came out, but he also influenced many other famous directors to use them also, such as Percy Jackson. Steven Soderbergh explains the reasons why he chose red and what he loves about the camera in this article interview that I will show you and read out a few extracts from it to express his viewpoints on digital cinema as well. Here is a quote from the article of Steven Soderbergh on why he shoots with red digital camera. He says, "I like the way it works, I like its size. The Sony camera, that's a nice image, but the thing is a boat anchor. When I first saw the Panavision Genesis, I knew that wasn't going to work because it was bigger than the Panaflex. The whole point is, we want it smaller. The thing about the Epic, which can record full resolution without being connected to anything." On this slide of Steven Soderbergh, you will see a video link to Steven Soderbergh's interview talking about his first time using a digital camera. On this slide, I will show you the trailer to Insidious 2011 and some background information about the film. Insidious 2011 was shot on a red camera, which is a digital camera. Insidious had a budget of $1.5 million and it made $97 million approximately, which is a huge profit and makes this film very successful financially. One of the main reasons why this film has such a small budget is because of the type of camera it was filmed with. It was shot digitally, which cuts down production costs, and it is more efficient to film with digital as it would take a shorter period of time to film compared to if it was filmed on an analog camera. The camera that was used to film this movie was a red camera, a new digital camera that even independent filmmakers can use for small budget films because of its cheap price to hire compared to the analog cameras, which are more expensive to hire. Digital cameras has helped the movie industry to grow, getting more independent filmmakers to produce high quality films. So what has digital cinema brought to the film industry? It has brought a lot to it. Filmmakers are able to produce more films with smaller budgets, but also has cut down costs for major budget films. Digital cameras are the main thing that has helped revolutionize the film industry. They have been produced to rival the film cameras but also making it better than them, making them lightweight and more compact, which has attracted many film directors such as George Lucas and Steven Soderbergh, but many more also. Filmmakers are able to create more shots in many different angles and edit their films to their imaginations. Things like this could never be done with a film camera. Digital cameras have helped filmmakers to be more creative. Digital cinematography has definitely evolved over the past 30 to 40 years of filmmaking, helping the industry to grow by bringing out more independent filmmakers to go out and shoot a film on a low budget with high quality piece of equipment, just like A-list film directors. Digital film will keep growing, and it has shown it with its digital films that it has helped the process of filmmaking evolve.